Hi there. If you're here watching this video, it means that you most likely attended my class on Power Query and probably Power Pivot. I'm making this video actually just intend to talk about the extraction of data related to those tools. Okay, so on the screen over here, I have this working file for this video. So I am just going to open it right now. I am coming to this particular worksheet, using this worksheet as a sample for this whole entire video, and we are going to use another worksheet as well, and in terms of coverage, we won't be talking about overlap pivot tables in this video. That be another topic. First method, extracting data in this worksheet using the from table or range button. So when the loading takes place in Excel, right, is going to materialize in the table. Second route will be extracting from Power Query and then sending it across to Power Pivot, and from Power Pivot summarize the data and send it back to Excel, to the face of Excel, in the form of a overlap pivot table. And also I like to compare after how we can actually send data directly to Power Pivot and whether it makes sense or not. So here it goes. The first method, I have actually clicked on the body of the data, and I'm going to data right now, looking for my Power Query. Button is right here, right? Now, in the usual sense of extracting data, right? This is the button to go to, while the rest over here are shortcut. But I'm talking about a route where I am just extracting from the table or range that which I see right here. So that's why I'm clicking, or I have clicked on this cell already. And I'm going straight away to actually click from table and range. We are on the way to create a table, a very generic table. I click on the OK button. You might actually see right now on the screen, right? The Power Query editor window pops up, which is great. This manner of loading or extracting from Excel to into Power Query, I would say is the fastest. But there are some repercussions being the fastest, right? There, as you can see, there's no way I am given the opportunity to rename the table lah. It is table 1. Okay, so what's the big deal, right? It's fine if I'm working with one worksheet and it turns into table 1, but if there are many more worksheets that I intend to extract into Power Query, I'm going to get a generic bunch of table 1, 2, 3, and so on. And it kind of gets to me because I can't actually rename anything at all. I can, but it's going to be very manual. So let's go into it right now. So now over here, right, everything is fine, no changes needed. So what I'm going to do is like this. I'm going to close to the Power Query, and I'm going back to Excel just to prove my point. For the fun of it, I'm just going to close and load to Power Pivot. So only create a connection, add this to a data model, and click OK. And waiting for it to complete. Going to Power Pivot just to check things out. So table 1 is here lah. Okay, so don't bother about the bunch of blanks that you see over here. It's a matter of selecting ascending or descending order. There it is. There's something there, obviously. Okay, now I'm coming back to Excel right now with my Power Query editor window closed. I will try to change my table name by going to table design right now. So it is the generic table 1 that is inside Power Query right now, and also in my data model, which is my Power Pivot. I'm taking and copying this worksheet name and popping it over to my table 1 and pasting it here, enter. Okay, and I'm moving up. Okay, table name change, and I'm going to Control S to save, of course. Now, I like to go into Power Query right now and try to refresh now, even before finishing my sentence, trying to refresh. I see an error over here. Power Query can't find table 1. Yes, obviously table 1 is no longer there anymore because I changed the table name, right? So what happened? I can't work with this anymore. I gotta do a correction on this, and the fastest way is actually coming to View, Advanced Editor, and under here, the M language codes over here, change table 1 to transaction record, and click Done. Okay, so data is back. However, you might notice that this still remains as table 1, right? So if I want this to be changed to transaction record, I can, but I'm going to have to double click and manually do it. Now it's fine if I'm working with one table, but it's not really fine. It's a waste of my time if I'm working with a lot of tables. Then I'm going to invest a lot of work into changing the table name here, right? If I don't, then this table name would not match with the table names which are displayed here, right? So obviously I got to match, right? So I got to change it in Excel, and when I refresh, I can't get anything. I get an error, even worse, right? I got to take out the error and then come back here and manually change my table name. So it's actually a lot of work, you realize, right? So I would rather, if I have more than one table, I rather not do it that way, which I've seen. I rather go and get data and extract. That's the reason why. If you're dealing with a lot of tables, don't do it that way. Won't recommend it. And what happens in Power Pivot right now, right? I'm going over there. I'm going to click refresh to see if there are changes affected. And I get an error because table 1 no longer exists. And what's happening over here is like, one of the fastest way to actually correct it, right? Coming here, right? It's actually coming here, closing and loading. Okay, I'm going to head back to Power Pivot after this finish. Hang on. Error no longer here, but I got to manually change my table name. Okay, so that's the reason for coming here and talking about not doing extracting this way using this option. And for the matter, right, if you go to Power Pivot, you will also notice you can actually add a data model directly into Power Pivot. So I'm going to show it to you. Give me a moment. I close off everything and starting everything from a fresh, clean plate. So same file again. Okay. All right. Enable content. I'm going to use another range for this method. All right. Okay. Coming over here, going to Power Pivot and click Add to Data Model. I see this in the process of being changed to a table also. Clicking OK, and there it is over here. The route is actually from Excel straight to here. Is there anything extracted in Power Query? Not. Let's go and check it out. As we can actually see, there's no panel opening up telling us what queries and connections are there, right? As I think you're guessing things correct already. So let's go and check it out. So going to get data, launching my Power Query editor window, and waiting for things to pop out. All right. Okay. So over here, this part here is like this. Now this part here, right, is actually the previous item now, which I accidentally save up. Okay. So the new table that we just done, extracted into Power Pivot, right, doesn't actually go through Power Query in this case. Hence, Using this method is not convenient if we need Power Query to do any editing work. That's it for this video. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.